Hello everyone, welcome to my channel The Effortless English Elucidation. In this video I'll discuss with you Gulmohar Class 7 English Reader Books Chapter 7, the title of which is The Scholarship Jacket. As the title itself clarifies, the story is about a jacket, an extraordinary jacket, which was awarded to 8th grade graduate student from the Texas school. This was awarded to an extraordinary student who had performed with the best grade in all the 8 years. Here it is about the struggle of Martha, who had performed with the best grades in the last 7 years, and was she was expecting to get the jacket with the best performance this year too. But there comes a hindrance in her way where the principal tries to show some biasness to a student who belonged from a very rich family. But with the help of her grandfather, Martha fought for her right and finally won the award. So the moral theme provided, or the moral theme expressed in this story, is that you should always stand for what is right. Fight for your right, just as Martha did. Never be afraid of what is wrong. So I'll discuss with you this chapter line by line. Here we go. The small Texas school that I had attended carried out a tradition every year during the 8th grade graduation, a beautiful gold and green jacket. The school colors was awarded to the class valedictorian. Valedictorian here means the student who performed with the best grades in the 8 years. So the student was provided with a beautiful jacket which was of the school colors, which is gold and green. The scholarship jacket had a big gold S on the left front side, and the winner's name was written in gold letters on the pocket. How beautiful it must be looking. If you win a jacket in which your name is written in gold on the pocket, it means so special. My older sister Rosie had won the jacket a few years ago, and I fully expected to win it as well. So the older sister Rosie had already won the jacket a few years ago, and now Martha was expecting to win it. I was 14 and in the 8th grade. I had been a straight A student since the first grade, and for the last year I had looked forward to owning that jacket. She had already won straight A right from the last 8 years, and she was expecting it totally to win in the upcoming year also. My father was a farm laborer who didn't earn enough money to feed 8 children. So when I was 6, I was sent to live with my grandparents. All the children in our family couldn't participate in sports in school because there were registration fees, uniform costs, and trips out of town. So there would never be a school sports jacket for us. This one, the scholarship jacket, was our only chance. So here it says that the father was a farm laborer and could not earn enough money to feed all the 8 children. So when Martha was just 6 years old, she was sent to live with her grandparents. And all the children in the family could not participate in sports because it had other charges also, which was not to be paid, which her father was not able to pay. So the scholarship jacket was the only chance for them to win an award because it was free. It was now May, and we only had a few weeks left of school. So it was already May, and only few weeks were left for the school to get over. One afternoon, I was absent-mindedly wandering from my history class to the gym when I remembered my PE shorts were still in a bag under my desk. I had to walk all the way back and get them. So the school was about to be over in few weeks, and the name of the winner was about to be announced. Then one afternoon, what happened? while attending her history class, she suddenly remembered that her PE shorts were still in a bag under the desk. So she had to walk all the way and get it back. I was almost back at my classroom's door when I heard angry voices. So she got her shorts and she was almost back to her classroom's door when she heard some angry voices. I stopped. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. What is the meaning of eavesdrop? To listen to someone's private conversation without them knowing. I just hesitated, not knowing what to do. I recognized the voices, Mr. Schmid, my history teacher, and Mr. Boone, my maths teacher. So the conversation was between her maths teacher and history teacher. Now, what was the conversation? They seemed to be arguing about me. I refused to do it. I don't care who her father is. Her grades don't even begin to compare to Martha's. That was Mr. Schmid. He sounded very angry. Mr. Boone's voice sounded calm and quiet. So the argument was between Mr. Schmid and Mr. Boone. What was the argument about? It was about Martha, where they were arguing about two students. One was from a very rich and powerful family for whom he was getting biased that she should be awarded with the jacket, and the other one was Martha, who actually deserved the jacket, although she was from a very poor family, not from a very renowned her father or her parents were not very much well known in the town, but she deserved the jacket. So this was an argument for whom should they give the jacket. Look, Joan's father is not only on the board, he owns the only store in the town. We could say it was a close tie, and the pounding in my ears drowned out the rest of the words. So when she heard this argument, she was in a shock because she was totally deserving and she expected that she was very much excited, in fact, that she was about to win the jacket this year. But all of a sudden it looked like everything was going to change, and due to which the pounding in my ears, pounding means what? It was totally, you can say, echoing in her ears. The words were being repeated in her ears, the same words, the argument, and due to which she could not hear the further conversation. The pounding in my ears drowned out the rest of the words. Drowned out means she could not hear. I heard only a word here and there. Martha is Mexican, resign, won't do it. She could hear only few more words. She could not hear the entire conversation because she was in a shock. Mr. Schmid came rushing out. Luckily for me, he went the opposite way toward the auditorium, so he didn't see me. But after hearing it, Martha was in a shock. So you can imagine how she must have felt when she heard the entire conversation. She was very much happy. Just be at her place and feel how it would be when you are sure that you are going to win something which you really deserve, and all of a sudden, due to the school politics or biasness, you are stopped from getting it. How would you have felt? So this was the situation with her. She was in a shock. She was shaking. Shaking, I waited a few minutes and then went in and grabbed my bag and fled from the room. As soon as Mr. Schmid came out of the room and went towards the auditorium, she stood there for a few minutes. She was literally shaking and then went, grabbed her bag and fled from the room. The next day, when the principal called me into his office, I knew what it would be about because she had already heard the previous day's conversation. So when the principal called for her, she knew what the principal was about to say. He looked uncomfortable because he was wrong. So he had to look uncomfortable. He looked uncomfortable and unhappy. I looked him straight in the eye. This is what happens. When you are right, you should not be afraid of anything and anyone. I looked him straight in the eye. He looked away and fidgeted with the papers on his desk because he was wrong. So he was unable to make any eye contact with Martha. But since Martha was right, she stared at him right into his eyes. Martha, he said, there has been a change in policy this year regarding the scholarship jacket. As you know, it has always been free. He cleared his throat and continued. Why did he clear his throat? Because he was afraid to speak the lie. He was afraid to lie. He cleared his throat and continued. This year, the board has decided to charge $15, which still won't cover the complete cost of the jacket. So, up until now, it was awarded free, but this year they were going to charge $15 from the person or from the student who would win the jacket. I stared at him in shock, and a small sound of dismay escaped my throat. Dismay means disagreement. I hadn't expected this. He still avoided looking in my eyes. So all the conversation was done through the eyes. The one who was lying was not able to make the eye contact, was hesitating, and the one who was right was standing bold there, although she was just a student, just a class 8 standard student. So if you are unable to pay the $15 for the jacket, it will be given to the next one in line. So this was all the plan of the school, to quietly give this jacket to a student who was the child of a very well-known person, a rich person who was not only one of the board members but also the only store holder of the town. So if you are unable, so here they make a kind of decision that they would charge the $15, and since Martha was poor, she will be unable to pay and the jacket would be quietly given to Joan. Standing with all the dignity I could muster, standing with dignity means standing with respect, I said, I'll speak to my grandfather about it, sir, and let you know tomorrow. So one more important message given here is that although you are right and the other person is wrong, if the other person is respectful or older to you, you should never lose your dignity. As Martha was standing here with all her dignity, she gives a very good message that even while fighting for the right, you should never lose your dignity. So standing with all the dignity I could muster, I said, I'll speak to my grandfather about it, sir, and let you know tomorrow. I cried on the walk home from the bus stop. By the time I got home, my eyes were red and puffy. The helpless, the hopeless little Martha, who was so excited before hearing this conversation, before meeting the principal, she was very much excited about the jacket. Now the things had totally changed. She had become hopeless and helpless because now it was not she was not from a very rich family to pay the $15 and get the jacket. So she had cried a lot and her eyes were red and puffy. Where's Grandpa? When she reached home, she asked to her grandmother. Where's Grandpa? I asked Grandma, looking down at the floor so she wouldn't ask me why I had been crying. She was sewing a quilt and didn't look up. She was busy sewing a quilt, so she didn't look up and said, I think he's outside working in the bean field. I went outside and looked out at the fields. There he was. I could see him walking between the rows, his body bent over the little plants, hoe in hand. I walked slowly out to him, trying to think of how I could best ask him for the money. Now she wanted the jacket at any cost. So she had thought that I'll just go and talk to grandfather and ask him to pay the $15. I knew I had to be honest with Grandpa. It was my only chance. He saw me and looked up. He waited for me to speak. I clasped my hands behind my back because she was very nervous, so he wouldn't see them shaking. Grandpa, he said, I have a big favor to ask you, I said in Spanish, the only language he knew. He still waited silently. So, by looking at Martha, Grandpa had already understood that she had cried and there was something wrong. So, he waited for her to complete her conversation, to complete whatever she had to say. And she spoke in Spanish to Grandpa because it was the only language he understood. So now it was not very easy for her to communicate the entire thing because she was full of emotion. So she tried again. I tried again. Grandpa, this year the principal said the scholarship jacket is not going to be free. It's going to cost $15 and I have to take the money tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be given to someone else. The last words came out in a rush. This is all, the emotion is totally portrayed here, where the last words came out in a rush. That if she does not pay the money, the $15, it will be given to someone else. Grandpa straightened up tiredly and leaned his chin on the hoe handle. He asked quietly, "What does a scholarship jacket mean?" So he asked, "What does a scholarship jacket mean?" I answered, "It means you have earned it by having the highest grade for 8 years, and that's why they are giving it to you." I realized the significance of my words as I spoke. So, without saying anything, in a very few words, in fact, Grandpa explained her the entire thing. He just asked her, "What does it mean?" And she answered that it means something which a student has earned out of his or her hard work for the last 8 years. And this is like a reward. So she realized the significance of her words when she spoke, that this is to be awarded, this is the right of the child to be awarded. The child deserves due to her hard work. This is not something to be paid and bought. Then if you pay for it, Martha, it's not a scholarship jacket, is it? Tell your principal I will not pay the $15. Here the grandfather conveys a very important message to the ones reading, the ones listening, and Martha too. That when you are not wrong, you should not choose the wrong way. Never be afraid when you are right. Always stand for the right thing, and you will definitely get what you deserve. It was a very sad and withdrawn girl who dragged herself into the principal's office the next day. She had totally lost the hope of getting the jacket because she knew the politics. She knew that this is already pre-planned, and since they have already planned to give it to, as she had heard the conversation, if she would not have heard the conversation, it would not be so clear to her. But now, since she had already heard the conversations, she had understood that if she does not pay the money, she will definitely not get the jacket. So she had totally lost the hope, and this hopeless girl, helpless girl entered quietly into, dragged herself means forcefully took herself into the principal's office next day. This time, he did look me in the eyes. "What did your grandfather say?" I sat very straight in my chair. She was very quiet and helpless. "He said to tell you he won't pay the $15. So she said in a very low voice, that he said to tell you that he won't pay the $15. The principal was silent for a while. "Why?" he finally asked. "Your grandfather has the money. Doesn't he own a small bean farm?" I looked at him, forcing my eyes to stay dry. She was about to cry, but she tried to control her emotions. She forced her eyes to stay dry. He said, "If I had to pay for it, then it wouldn't be a scholarship jacket," I said, and stood up to leave. I was almost to the door when he stopped me. She was almost about to leave when the principal stopped her. Martha, wait. I turned and looked at him, waiting. He sighed loudly at me, biting his lips as if thinking, okay, yes, okay. We'll make an exception in your case. I'll tell the board you'll get your jacket. So, here the principal changes his mind and says that I'll make an exception in your case and I'll tell the board you'll get your jacket. I could hardly believe it. Now, once again, she became happy. The emotions once again became the opposite. My voice shook as I spoke. Oh, thank you, sir. Suddenly, I felt great. I wanted to yell, jump, run, do something. I ran out so I could cry in the hall where there was no one to see me. Now, this time she wanted to cry out of happiness, not out of sorrow. She was so happy. She had lost the hope of getting the jacket. But once again, when the principal confirmed that she will get the jacket, she was so much happy that she wanted to cry. So she left the principal's office, went into the hall and cried there where nobody could see her. I cried on the walk home again, but this time it was because I was so happy. I couldn't wait to tell Grandpa and ran straight to the field. I called out, Grandpa! The principal said he's making an exception for me. I'm getting the jacket after all. That's after I told him what you said. So here finally she won her battle, came home crying, but this time she was crying out of happiness and came jumping and yelling to Grandpa and said that, Grandpa, finally I'm getting the jacket after all. That's after I told him what you said. Grandpa didn't say anything. He just gave me a pat on the shoulder and a smile. He said quietly, better to see if your grandmother needs any help with supper. I gave him a big grin. He didn't fool me. I skipped and ran back to the house, whistling a silly tune. So here the story ends with a very happy Martha, who finally won her battle, and she gives an important lesson that whenever you're right, stand for it and do not choose the wrong path. So here we end the story. Thank you so much.